Good evening, beautiful moms and moms-to-be, and even you great fathers and father figures that our angels are blessed to have. I am, as always, very pleased that you have joined us today on the show. Welcome to our little village where we learn and grow together, Mommy 101. Up next, Mommy News. There has been a never-ending debate on whether or not spanking or corporal punishment has a place in the way we raise our children. Most scientists claim that we shouldn't even use the word debate, saying that it's an undisputable fact that it works more to harm than to help the child in the long run. They also go on to allege that children who are spanked frequently at age 3 are more likely to show aggressive behavior by the time they are 5 than kids who are not. And that yes, spanking may stop the problematic behavior, but that this is because the child is afraid, and that in the long run, physical punishment will only make the kid's behavior worse. Today, though, I want to begin on the topic of corporal punishment in schools, and our video of the day speaks on that. What of you guys? Are you for it or are you against it?
I was called to a teacher's office and beaten thoroughly using a Bunsen burner pipe due to sleeping in class.
I was driven out of class and told to lie on a pavement where I was given 6 strokes using a Bunsen burner pipe.
He asked me why I was sleeping. I tried to tell him that I was sick. Even I showed him the medicine, but he didn't hear. He told me to come to his office. I was not able to sit down for a week because of the beating that the deputy gave me.
There was this one time that I was punished severely. I was beaten like 20 strokes using a Bunsen burner can.
This one time I had not worn my socks, which is part of the school uniform. The deputy caught me and took me to the office. I tried to resist, but the more I resisted, the more he got motivated. And by the time I was moving out of his office, I had blood coming out of my mouth and my nose.
There was a kid who had failed a question in biology, so the kid was punished, and in the line of punishment his head was hit and he fell into a coma.
Because of the way that I was punished, I could not concentrate in my class studies. My morale was very down and I could not even talk and interact with the other pupils.
I dropped biology because of the corporal punishment I was given by the biology teacher.
Corporal punishment, when faced by a child, will lower his self-esteem, maybe disfigure his physical appearance and lower his rate of concentration.
I'd like to tell the government that it's time for us to stood by what we have agreed on. If we agreed that corporal punishment should be abolished, that should be the case.
Corporal punishment is savage, barbaric, and inhumane, and it should be stopped.
No student deserves to be punished in a violent way.
No student deserves to be punished in a violent way.
No student deserves to be punished in a violent way.
No student deserves to be punished in a violent way.
We are back with our Look What This Does segment, and today I have an early childhood educator and owner of kindergarten. Her name is Leah Njoki. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And so we're going to have a theme around this episode, and it's going to be about education and school and just everything that happens around it. And of course, early childhood education is something that most people consider very important. Yeah. But how did you get into this field? Why did you decide to study that? Because you have a master's. Or are you getting it, or do you have it already?
I'm just about to
get your master's on
yes.
early childhood education.
Yes.
Why this field?
Well, actually, early childhood was more of a sort of a stumbling. I stumbled into it actually.
Okay.
It wasn't my first choice, but coming into the public education system, and when I went to campus, that was what I was given to do by the government. But eventually, I came to really like it because it was really diverse, and there was a lot to do. There was a lot of brain stimulation that really got me thinking about how important foundations are for future generations. So I thought I should just continue with it, and that's how I got to where I am today.
And then why did you also decide to begin your own kindergarten?
Well, actually, I was when I went to campus, I was taken to Mombasa. So, which is
Mombasa
actually
campus?
Kilifi. I actually went to the Kilifi campus. By then, it was more of a constituent college. So when I got there, I realized that there was a very big gap in terms of middle income earners, where they were not able to get a good quality kindergarten as opposed to places like Nairobi and other major towns. So when I was looking for my attachment, it was quite hectic. That's when I realized that there's quite a gap over there. And I decided to do a bit more research. So I got into it from the business perspective. And then I thought about my target market, and then I just decided to start right after I finished campus.
How challenging was that? And how long have you been operating the kindergarten?
I started the kindergarten in 2012.
Okay,
so this is my 5th year. I'm getting into my 5th year. Yeah, it is a bit challenging considering that one of the biggest setbacks was my age, and I didn't have a lot of experience. But I think that is something that I was able to counter by saying that I had actually done 4 years of learning and a bit of practice here and there. And of course, raising capital was also a big issue. But I think I decided to start with whatever I had, and I just decided to put whatever I was getting from the fees and everything back into the school. It's been a good journey. I can't really complain. It's been fun.
But you're not, do you stay in Kilifi then?
Yes, I do stay in Kilifi.
Oh, so you're here just for a short while?
I do come here because of my school, of the master's program, and I'm also doing other things here as well. Because when schools close, there's nothing to do much at school. Yeah.
Okay, so I have this question that's been burning in me for a while. I want you to help me figure this out. Is my child a genius? I think my child is a genius. Because let me tell you why. I think she's a genius. She's 1.5, okay? And she knows about, I think, 50 words already. She counts from 1 to 10 by herself. She says the alphabet. She knows colors.
Okay.
So she's a genius, right?
Well, from my experience, every parent thinks their child is a genius.
But listen to the facts that I just...
But then again, the question that I always ask them is that people really equate intelligence to academic ability. But then again, there's so much more in terms of scope of learning that then again, as an educator, I would have to ask. And for me, I would say that at that age, I don't think parents should really be looking at how well my child can color or how well my child can read and identify letters. I think for me, I would say at that point I should be able to look at how my child is handling their emotions in terms of, are they able to ask for, are they able to express themselves? If, even if it's not through words, but even through nonverbal communication, maybe are they making eye contact? I would also talk about if the child is a bit older, are they able to use courteous words?
Please and thank
please
you.
And thank you and excuse me, if it's depending on how much vocabulary they can pick at that age, depending on how much you talk at home. And also for me, I would say the other thing would be, value systems. How are they being established at this point? Because I think that when it comes to academic ability, that is something that's supposed to come in maybe when the child is a bit older, and it's going to come automatically. Because I think research has shown that children start developing logic and all these things at the age of about 6. So at this point before that, they're probably just regurgitating what they've heard, or just because of repetition. But it's not really ingrained in their minds that what they're doing is even relevant at that point. So it's about how well are they responding to guests, or how are they playing with their friends at home? Are they aggressive? Are they, are they able to express, as I said before, are they able to say, my name is Leah and I'm a girl, and are they aware of themselves? For me, that would be genius if I was given an opportunity to look at a child and say, this is what I think. But academic ability at this point, I feel it's a bit rushed. And it's not bad, because most parents actually enjoy having children do that, but for me it would be a bit not so much.
Okay, well, you almost crushed my dreams. But she also knows how to say her name and my name.
Okay,
and all
that's
that.
good.
And she says thank you.
Then that's
so
a good
hey,
thing.
We're geniuses in that family. Okay, but would you say, I know you're an owner of a kindergarten, and this is what you specialize in, but is it really necessary to take your child to, not kindergarten, but pre-kindergarten? Or is it more of a behavioral regulation thing and teaching them how to socialize? But does it really help mentally?
Well, first of all, I think that kindergarten is quite relative. It's a big scope of, it's a big word that people like using. I think it's because it's fashionable. Oh, my kid has gone to kindergarten. Oh, my kid is, but for me, looking at maybe contemporary world right now, where most parents are working, in terms of mom and dad are both at work, then I think it's necessary. Because then again, having a setup where children are together and they're learning, whatever they're learning, is important for, even for language development and things like that. It depends again on what the child is learning at the kindergarten, because what is trending right now is, as you said, what is your child learning? Oh, they've done so much of writing and reading. My child has a beautiful handwriting and the child is 3. But then again, what is your objective for taking your child to school? Is it for them to be able to learn to interact with others? Is it for them to be able to, you know, develop independent skills like feeding themselves, things that you may probably not be able to do from home? So for me, that I would say that, yeah, as much as I'm a kindergarten owner, I feel like that is what should be the objective for the parent when they're bringing their child to school. Yeah, for the child to just learn certain skills, but not really academic really ability at that point. Yeah.
So then that's kind of some of the things that you should look at when you're choosing a school for your child.
Exactly. You should look at your value system. Value systems are very different. Value system involves morality, they involve religion, they involve, you know, what do you envision for your child's future? So that when you look at that, then you can be able to pick curriculums, you can be able to pick times for your child to go to school. At this point, I'm assuming that you're thinking about it from the age of 3. Yeah. So at that point, you're thinking, what would I want my child to gain as a foundation? Yeah. But schools it's a big, it's such a wide selection that you'll have to really narrow it down to what you want, because at this point the child doesn't really understand. They wouldn't tell you like, I want to be a doctor is a serious thing.
Yeah, it's a serious thing.
Because that sometimes in my class, like I tell the child, what do you want to be today? I want to be a pilot. Tomorrow they watched a cartoon, they want to be a superhero. So for you, what is it that you want your child to gain when they go to school? Yeah.
Why do you think then there's a surge in parents there taking their kids to these Montessori schools as opposed to
other schools?
Yeah.
Okay, let me give the idea that is in Kenyan schools today. Montessori is sort of like a curriculum that was started actually as a solution to children with mental illness. That was how Montessori school started, because it was more of a what do we call it? Something for. It was more of children being able to experience the world through their senses, and it was because their mental ability was not as. But that's another scope, another discussion. Montessori is more of a trend, in my opinion, in Kenya right now, because most people are doing it because then again it's been proven and tested that it's a really good curriculum.
Oh, really? Especially
if you find a school that follows the curriculum to the latter, it's a really good curriculum. And the advantage about Montessori is that HAPAC, if for example you decide to start your school on the Montessori curriculum, then HAPAC is more of how you're going to teach it, the materials you're going to use, how you're going to break down your timetable from day to day. And I think that's what most people want, that there's that procedural stability in how your child is going to learn. Then again, there's Montessori and then there's Montessori. It's just like you would buy a Louis Vuitton bag and then you'll buy a Louis Vuitton bag, So then again, for you to be able to understand that, you might be able to look at her, just be able to do a bit more research, because people replicate, but they don't, they don't do it well. Yeah, because I know that for you to be able to start a Montessori school, you have to go through some trainings. Sometimes they do a bit of quality control and standard evaluations and things like that. Yeah, but it is a good system.
Is it better than the normal kindergarten, just private kindergarten, let's say?
Let me say that for me, I'm a strong advocate of the Kenyan curriculum.
Why is that?
Because first of all, let me get out of the way that 844 is kindergarten curriculum. That's not the way it's supposed to be. 844 is when the child is 6 years old, they're going to class 1. That's when you say that the child is actually 844. But for the KIA curriculum, it's more of a child from the age of 3 to the age of 5. It's very tailor-made for the Kenyan child, which I really appreciate. It's very well written. The problem is that it's not well implemented in most schools. But the Kenyan curriculum actually advocates for a lot of play. It actually advocates for creative activities. it talks about music, it talks about life skills, and life skills is actually one of their biggest components in terms of they talk about hygiene, they talk about self-awareness, they talk about courtesy, they talk about safety. You're supposed to teach children about parts of their bodies that should not be touched when they are at a certain age. And all these are things that I think will answer the Kenyan problem.
Yeah.
Now, the Montessori curriculum, on the other hand, is not a Kenyan curriculum. It's not a bad curriculum, but does it really answer the Kenyan problem? I think our system is more of how do we incorporate our values as communities coming together and, you know, looking at how do we bring up our children to have, you know, the communal values that we have as Africans. But then again, for them, it's more of an individual growth pattern, and that's the problem right there.
Oh.
Yeah, but then again, all of them are good. As I said before, it's depending on what you want for your child, and you look at, you know, visit the school, be able to talk to the owner or the administrator about their program, get to look at some of their books that they're using, then you gauge for yourself whether you want your child to move to this curriculum or the other.
One. So you mentioned the age, you said probably from the age of 3.
Yeah.
What are parents who want their kids to start early? Because I remember I went to class 1 when I was 5.
Okay, when I was in school, we used to do a lot of theories that talk about child development, and most of them advocate for the child to go to school at the age of 6 for formal education, because early childhood is more of an informal system. Now, that's very relative because they didn't do research on every child in the world and say that you cannot say that there's one road to, you know, to education, but I think the most recommended age for preschool is usually 3 years. 3 years, because 1 to 3, the child is still, you know, a bit maybe more dependent on the parents than they are on the school. And then at the age of 3, they're able to develop a lot of vocabulary, and then their brain development has also gone a bit of a step higher as opposed to looking at, you know, 2 years and below. But then again, remember that 3 to 6 years is not supposed to be academic, as I was saying. It's supposed to be the child just coming to school to be able to learn other aspects of, like, as a foundation for them. So when they go to primary school, which is at the age of 6, then they're able to, you know, retain information. They're able to, you know, they've developed certain character traits that will help them to be able to survive in the formal education world. So I would say 3 for preschool, and I would say 6 because that's what even the government is recommending at now. Because if you look at it from the future perspective, you probably finish school when you're 17, then that becomes another problem. You go to campus, you don't have IDs, you know, then it becomes just complicated. And
some people want their kids to wamalize haraka. They finish this. So they can go. But I would not advocate for it. Then again, there's the issue of children going to school at the age of 13 when they're going to high school. Or 12. Now this child is going through puberty, they're going through adolescence, which is now sort of like another step of conflict within the mind or the body of a child. But then who is supposed to be there as the key person? Is it supposed to be a teacher, or is it supposed to be a parent? I always advocate that it's the parent, because you're going through body changes, you're going through emotional changes, and then you go and you go through that in high school, where the key person becomes your peers, and that then becomes another problem. But if it's weighted upon so that you're around standard 7, like for me it was around there, so I was able to ask my mom, what's happening, why are my things going this way or my things going that way, and then that way now when you go to Form 1, then you're able to say, okay, at least I have a bit of an idea of what's supposed to happen, as opposed to going to ask your peers, because high school for most people is a boarding. That's another problem. And then of course, as I said, it's just, it's highly recommended in a lot of curriculums for the child to be 6 when they are going for formal education. And now back to the early childhood education part. How many hours should a child spend in school? The ones were like from 3 to 5.
I think ideally, I think the child should go to school for a half day. Half day being they've gone into school at around 8 to 9 and they're leaving at around 12 to 1:30. That means they've stayed on for just a bit of learning, a bit of play, and maybe lunch. But in reality, that's not possible for working parents, because they have to, they have to go back to, they have to work. Who's going to pick the child up at 1?
At 1.
Yeah, so most schools actually recommend nap time. So you should, consider such
Yes,
things.
in
So
beds and
exactly,
mattresses.
in mattresses, exactly. So even if it's a full day, the child is not supposed to have a full day of learning when they're, especially when they're age 3, or sometimes even some parents who bring their children a bit earlier, they're not supposed to do a whole day of learning, so that you go to class and it's 3 o'clock and the children are writing or they're coloring. I think that, concentration wise, it's already gone. Exactly. Half of them are asleep by 12. So I think 12:30 probably would be lunch, a bit of play, just to, let the food, exactly, and then just come in and sleep. Yes, sleep for an hour and a half, wake up, go home.
Okay, so we're almost done, but my last question would of course be, what do you think is lacking in Kenya in terms of the early education? Because you've mentioned the curriculum is quite good, but what do you think is lacking? Why are people opting for all these other?
I think for me, I'd say it's because our systems of implementation are I would say really bad in my opinion. Because in terms of quality assurance and supervision, I think that's where we are going wrong. Also, I believe that the other problem we have with the Kenyan system is that teaching is not really considered a profession. It's more of a,
alikosa kazi,
alikosa kazi, or you didn't do well in your exam, so just go do teaching. Or Nani seems to really know how to point at the board, let them become a teacher. I think that professionalism is really lacking in terms of people being able to set standards and achieve their objectives. I think that's where the problem is. And then I think, as I said earlier, it's the issue of supervision and quality control and setting standards. I think that's a big problem. So that implementation becomes a pipe dream for most schools. But I think we're headed in the right direction with the early childhood education now becoming a devolved aspect, where it's now being taken back to counties. I think that eventually, probably with it being decentralized, it will be easier to control from the grassroots level. So I'm quite optimistic.
Okay. It's been a very informative conversation. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So you can come back again when you're back in Nairobi.
For sure. You let me know.
I will let you know.
Sawa. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay.
See you in the next segment.
Okay.
Welcome to our Get to Know Your Guest segment, and today we have my friend in my head. We've never actually interacted before, but still I feel like we're friends.
Did you see that? Did you see what just happened when I walked in?
Hi, have you been? The cameras, viewers. Anyway, we have Esther Mwende Macharia today. She's a radio host for Connect. Goes from 1 to 4 at Radio Maisha.
Definitely,
right?
Yeah.
It's actually 12:30 now, and we're supposed to be leaving together to go for your show.
The show. Okay, I thought we were live, because otherwise I've been problems with my boss right now. Oh yes. But
yeah, it's a live show.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. So this show is about moms, eh?
Yeah.
You're a mom.
Oh yes.
Tell me about your son. What's his name? How old is he?
Now, this is the most interesting part about my life.
Moms make when they ask about the kids, they're like, well.
Yes, and then you take your phone and you start showing people.
Pictures.
Yes. His name is Champion. He was born on 10th of July 2013. That means he's 3. He joined school.
Gosh.
Yes, and it's so amazing raising him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most amazing thing ever in my life, because I tried to think, the other day I was thinking, no, if I wasn't a mom, if I wasn't Mama Champ, no, nowadays I'm Mama Champ. I mean, how would my life be? Yeah, but it's the most amazing thing. And yes, tunapeana magonjwa. Who was sick the other week? No, I'm carrying the same disease that he was carrying. But it's a beautiful thing. It's the most beautiful thing that God created.
It's true.
Yes.
Can you really tell what kind of personality he has? He's only 3, but is he the quiet type? Is he?
No,
No?
He's a champion. He's a champion.
He's
in
a winner.
every sense. He's aggressive. He's confident. He's very confident. But also he's very mischievous. He has this, this thing about him. But then again, also when he meets new people, he tends to withdraw a bit. But when he gets to know you, the champion comes out.
Yes, and what about you? What kind of mom are you? When you are Kali, do you?
Kiboko lazima itembee.
Kiboko.
Oh my God.
Why though? Why are we beating our children? So is that why you're doing it?
No, not really. Because as a mom, I have already seen what kind of personality that he has. It needs to be tamed a little bit. You know, not that I beat, I mean, if I say beat, it sounds, okay, not that I shame all the time. But I try to just, I know, because he's quite something. He's quite something. His personality is quite, is aggressive, let me say that, and confident. So that needs to be brought.
Now, when you had your baby, you were actually on a gospel show.
Oh yes, oh yes.
You were on a gospel show, and you know, there's this whole thing surrounding the whole child out of wedlock thing. And when I find it can be, it's such a big deal. But although for you, you were a bit shielded from that. You didn't get all the bad press. It came kidogo, right?
What do you think that was? Way later after I had my baby.
Way later.
Because I found that I was pregnant. I went before God. I told him, my baby shall never be, you know, like an emblem of shame. He's the glory of God. And I told God to cover him and to cover me. And that's exactly what happened. Actually, because I came to talk about him way later, you know, after I'd had him. Because I didn't have even people calling me and asking me stuff. You know, the way people call, you know, all these blogs and all. You were called until...
So, and I'm not even a gospel show host.
Do you know me? Nobody called me. Nobody. Wow. I don't know whether they didn't have the guts, but I think because I took it before God. I told him, like, this and this is not going to happen. My baby, glory of Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Amen. So, yeah. And when the time was right for me to talk about him, I did talk about him. And everybody celebrates champion.
And also at the same time, there were many circumstances revolving around it. Of course, you had just broken up with the father of the baby before you found out you were pregnant. But when you did find out you were pregnant, because you know, I'll speak for most moms. Most moms want their child to grow up in that complete family unit. So did you kind of hope for a reconciliation to happen?
Oh, I mean, definitely, yeah. But then, you see, when you get pregnant, and I think you can attest to this, the most important thing, you know, I think this happens before we get pregnant. You say like, me, I want us to be married, I want to be that. But when you get pregnant and you accept it, it becomes, the most important thing becomes your son. You know, because not only the thing about, I wasn't just going through the issue of, I mean, the baby daddy, I was also going through issues at my workplace. At your workplace? Yes. So I made it my purpose to put all my effort into raising a healthy baby. You should have seen me when I was pregnant, just that I didn't post photos. I was glowing.
Me too, man.
I was looking wonderful.
You people wish you would have seen us.
Looking on. The photos I share, I usually share sometimes on Instagram, but people do not know but I was 6 months pregnant. You know, there's some photos when I shake a microphone and I was 6 months pregnant.
And people can't tell.
People can't tell. Because I made it my purpose that I was going to raise a healthy pregnancy, which would translate into a beautiful baby. Which did.
But then, okay, so as that pregnancy was going on, or even after you had him, when did you then realize that, okay, you know what, this is not going to happen, I'm actually going to do this by myself? Was there a moment?
Oh yes, when I was at 6 months. When I was at 6 months, I made that decision, and I actually moved houses, because I remember there was a time I didn't want to move, you know, hoping for a reconciliation. But then, I mean, I came to a point where now I decided, okay, this is one I'm doing. And I'm doing it big. I'm not doing it small, like
I'm leaving this house,
Yes, I moved from my 1-bedroom house into a 3-bedroom house in a good place where I knew now it's about champ. It's about, you know, raising my son. And since then, I mean, we've never lacked anything. He goes to one of the best schools in Kenya.
Excuse me. But at the same time, I'm sure you noticed similarity. Because like for me, my daughter looks just like her dad. Do you notice similarities as well?
No, I don't notice similarities.
I think that happens with daughters.
It's obvious.
Oh, it's obvious. See the similarities. It's for copy pasting. You know, there's this theory that I was told that, I don't know if it was by my grandma, or I can't remember who exactly told me, but apparently if you have a child before you're married, especially for a girl, She ends up looking just like the dad. I
think it's just the Lord.
It's the Lord, yeah. She says that the Lord does it.
The Lord does it for you.
They look just like the Nini. Yeah. But how is it like then doing it alone, raising a boy by yourself?
All right, I wouldn't say I'm alone because the father still has his father. His father is still very present in his life.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, which is a good thing because for me, I want to raise. Despite the fact I live with my son or by myself, but that does not mean that I want him to grow, exempting his father from his life,
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting and tricky at the same time, because you want him to know he has mom and dad both in his life, but not necessarily living together. So it's a bit tricky, but it's doable with wisdom. If you allow wisdom,
you need a lot of wisdom.
Selfishness.
Yeah, it's true. So apart from the father, does he have any other father figures? I read an interview you did a while back, and you said you really don't want to introduce men into your child's life. But has that changed? Because it's been, I think, a year plus before you did that interview.
Not that it has changed. It has not changed yet.
It's true.
I don't want to confuse the child, I do not want to confuse that. So he only has his father, of course, his grandpa, like they're best friends. Despite the fact that he lives in Mombasa, but they talk on phone and all that. And then, of course, my brother, that is in college. So I think those are enough people as we wait in future.
That was my next question. Given the circumstances, like how your first pregnancy came about, it's a blessing. We all agree that having a healthy child is always a blessing.
Oh, yes.
But the circumstances that surround it are not always the best. But given that, would you have another baby in the future?
Oh,
or
yes.
Several
Several kidogo.
Uchumi mbaya.
Uchumi ni mbaya, my God. And then yes, I would want to, not necessarily now, because I have a career to build. I have a brand to build. Right now I'm focused on growing one day. Growing myself, but when that happens, because like I said previously, I made my son a priority. I made him a priority. I myself, tuko hapo sisi wawili. Sasa huyu unamlea and then I'm growing myself. Yes. Because when he was young, like 2 years, 1 year, it was all about him. I wasn't really growing so much about my brand, about my gigs that I do.
And that's the thing that happens with moms, because dads are able to separate that, but moms not really.
No.
Every decision you make, you're thinking about your child.
Yes. I mean, so usipofanya hivyo, who will do it for you?
It has to be you. It's true.
Because you see, like the other week, I was telling you he was unwell. It was really hard because I'm needed at work. I'm a working mom, but at the same time, my son is unwell. So it's a bit difficult to bring about the balance, but if you allow wisdom, things just flow.
But do you have any help?
Oh yes, I have good house helper. I got her sometime last year. But before that, I think I'd had like 5.
It's a problem.
Do you know there was sometime last year in September, there was a time I just had a day bug. Because nilikuwa nimechoka. Somebody comes and says, now the husband that had left now has come back.
That has happened to me too.
You know?
Yeah. And then, darn husband, why did you have to come back now? No.
I was saying, I don't think I want to have people who are married before, but then...
But then they just get married in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the one I've stayed with now is about a year. And she's good. She's good with the baby. She's mature. I hope I stay with her.
A year is a long time. It's a good. Means she's good. Hiya. Now, to growing one day. What are you up to now?
Ooh, I love this conversation.
So funny.
All right. I have a foundation.
Okay.
I kuanzisha a foundation.
Started. I think started.
I started a foundation September last year, in 2015, for self-empowerment.
Okay.
With the kind of show that I do on radio, I talk to young people. Between the ages of 18 to around 27 there. I discovered people do not want to harness. I don't know whether they do not want or they have not been taught how to harness, you know, within yourself, what is this wealth that you behold. People assume that the world will teach what you have, will teach you what is inside of you. We have not been taught that it's me to find out what are my hobbies, what are my abilities, what are my skills. The education system in Kenya does not allow that. But just because it does not allow, it does not mean we ourselves as young people cannot, you know, go within, find what is this wealth that's in you. Because if you know your vision, your purpose, your goals and all that, we grow a healthy generation. So that campaign is get towards that. It's called Najijua Najiamini. Najijua, Najitambua, you know. Najiamini, you know, you discover that I'm not just beautiful, I'm intelligent, I can act, I can sing, I can draw, I love science, you know. And you actually go into lengths and pursue those things, those dreams, those things that are inside you. So the campaign is called the Najijua Najiamini under the Champs Foundation. Some inspiration.
I'm seeing.
So we go to schools, high school and campuses, and we talk to young people. Yes. And because I go with young people like you, people who are in different, you know, positions of influence.
You should holler, hey, who needs it?
I'll call you. Next time I'm calling you. So yes, I've started, of course, doing corporate emceeing right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice, Tawa.
What else am I doing?
Of course, your radio show.
Yes. And I look forward to debuting my own TV show in the future.
Nice. Karibu sana. Welcome to this world.
Jamani, narudi tena.
Narudi. Haya basi sawa. Karibu tena. That part of the interview is done.
Oh, just like that?
Just like that. Do you know it's been like 15 minutes?
That was quick.
I know.
That was quick, but
interesting. Up next is Mommy on Fire. I have 7 questions for you, madam. Please, we need to know if you're fit to be a mother.
Oh, right. My God.
I'm just kidding.
No,
no, the questions are there, but they're not about you being fit to be a mom. Okay. So anyway, question number 1. How many weeks is a normal gestation period for a woman?
But why did we have to come to this place? I don't like those questions.
Excuse me. How many weeks is a normal gestation period for a woman? How long are we pregnant for?
39 weeks. 40.
I'll let it pass. Yes, 40. 2. Name, what's the name of the angel who visited Mary to tell her she would bear a child?
Gabriel.
Nice. Number 3. What's the name of the duck that is part of the Mickey Mouse gang?
McDonald.
Eh?
McDonald.
I think it's just Donald.
McDonald. But at least I knew it was
Donald.
But at least I knew Donald.
How many days does Lent last?
What now?
Lent. How many days?
I don't know.
Oh, you're not Catholic? But general knowledge?
I do not know.
40 days.
Oh, is that fasting? Is the fasting?
Yes, it's the fasting.
Oh.
What's the color what color do you get when you mix red and yellow?
Red and yellow. Orange?
Yes.
I'm right.
What shape has 8 sides?
8. Guy. My son was 8.
It rhymes with octopus.
The only thing that I can think about right now is the diamond shape, because now these are things he's learning in school.
Oh, diamond.
But
it's octagon.
Pyramid. Oh, it's a pyramid. What is how many?
Octagon, 8 sides.
Oh, okay.
Sawa. The last question.
Yes.
Name Abraham's wife in the Bible.
Sarah.
Oh, finish.
Finito.
Yay! I've had such a lovely time. Asante sana.
Thank you.
It's time to take selfies and go to your show now.
Definitely.
Please, eh?
That is the most important time for this interview.
The selfies. Welcome to my favorite part of the show. We have the Kiddie Star segment, and today we're joined by a whole bunch of kids. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and they're all part of the Sueno Africa Talent Management Company. So what usually happens at Sueno? Am I even pronouncing it right? Is it Sueno?
Yeah, it's Sueno Africa.
What happens there?
We are a talent nurturing company.
Oh, it's talent
for
nurturing.
kids.
Okay.
Yeah. We do modeling, ballet, salsa, acrobats. We even have a DJ and cooking lessons.
Oh.
Yeah, they're also karate lessons.
Karate.
It's karate.
So when you say nurturing, does it mean that someone comes there already with the talent and then you kind of educate them more, or what exactly happens when someone comes there? Say someone wants to be a model.
Okay, I think first of all, the kid has to have that interest in him or her. So when they come to us, we help them nurture. We concentrate more on what they can do, not basically education-wise, because most parents usually like to concentrate so much on education that they forget that their kids have more, there are more to that. So basically we just concentrate more on talent, what they can do, look for their strengths. And then they are trained, like the models are trained. We hold pageants for them where they compete. And we train them every Saturday.
Every Saturday?
Yes.
Oh, so it's once a week?
Yeah, once a week.
Okay.
Each and every one, the different categories.
Okay.
They get...
They converge at one place?
Yes.
Oh.
And then they are trained.
So we should actually get to meet them. We can start with this quiet one. You can tell us your name and what your talent is.
My name is Derek Mailo and I am a model.
Okay.
He is actually our prince.
Prince?
Yeah, the prince of Sueno, Africa.
We held a pageant.
We held a pageant.
Oh, he's the prince?
Yeah. The prince.
He looks like a prince, like royalty. No? Or you're a laid-back prince?
Yeah, he's also a footballer.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Multi-talented. So, Basi, pass the mic.
My name is Michelle Candy.
Michelle Candy.
I like modeling, dancing, and acrobats.
And acrobats. Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Nice to meet you. And you?
My name is Shari Zambura.
Okay.
I like modeling.
Okay.
I like reading.
Oh, nice. Very good, baby. And pass the mic.
My name is Shana Wamboi.
Okay.
And I like dancing.
Wow. And modeling?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. It's nice to meet you guys. Do you have an age limit for when you allow kids to join?
Not really, but most of them from age 4 or age 3 they can do a lot. Like he's age 4 and he can DJ. Yeah. To 18. Yeah, to 18 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you do teenagers as well?
Yeah.
And do you also do representation? Say someone wants to use one of the kids in your for a commercial or...
Yeah, we have done commercials before.
Legally, I mean, like, do you look over contracts for them?
We look for contracts. The princess who won has done a commercial, a water commercial for a company called Water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So those are some of the success stories that you have then?
Yes.
Yeah, basically. Do you have any others?
Not really, because we started Sueno this year, January.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's work in progress, but we're doing great so far.
I wanted to ask you about how much time it consumes, but you've already told me it's just about a day, a week. Do you think that's enough?
Okay, sometimes they are in school, weekends, some have things to do like homework. Yeah, and so we concentrate on the holidays like August holidays, December holidays. Yeah.
Okay. So where can people come and join this lovely organization that you have? How can people reach you?
We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Sueno Africa.
Yes.
And we're also located at South B Hazina.
South B Hazina?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's where our offices are.
Huh?
That's where our offices are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which one of you will help me say goodbye? Prince. It's not Prince. Michelle? Yeah. Okay, then look into that camera and just say, thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Wow, perfect. Okay, goodbye, guys. See you next time.